Space, the final frontier. Space Station Ashland sits on the edge of Federation space with its companion ship, the USS Dilamus Christian. The space around them is full of mystery and strange wonders, where secrets are kept and danger lurks around every corner. The crew of the Dilamus Christian must navigate treacherous waters as they work to protect the Federation. But as they peer into the unknown, they will discover that the line between friend and foe is not always clear. They will be tested like never before and will face challenges that will push them to their limits. Join us on this adventure as we explore the farthest reaches of space and uncover the hidden truths that lie within the shadows. Tabletop Journeys presents Star Trek: Preservations.
We're going to move to Tanari and Team Aegis. You're landing at one of those clusters. This section is not occupied. They've got a couple of the domiciles built, but they're still working on getting the power station set up. So this Aegis team is trying to find a way to get things, one, done faster. Two, they're trying to fine tune things so that it can be more efficient. So the type of will be able to support a larger habitat for evacuees.
Okay. Get down there, make sure that what we discussed on ship earlier gets used, our protocols so that we're prepared.
Yep.
Don't step in and take control from the Aegis commander. This is their gig. I'm here to support them.
Okay. Aegis commander will set about their work. He does look to you for ideas, so he'll ask you a lot of questions. So effectively what we're going to do is put you in an advisory role.
Okay.
Your success with the advisory role will equal their success with improving their process. If you care to make that role, it is a bit of a complex situation because of the nature of the planet and the weight of the mission is so critical. This is, I'm building something, but I'm saving lives here. Yes.
Lee, real quick, would this be Mr. Tanari using the direct task to direct and assist the team that's working?
Yes, I think that would be a great mechanic to use here.
Mr. Tanari, since you are a recipient of the Christopher Pike Medal of Valor, once permission, while directing someone in a task in your assistance role, you may treat it as though you rolled a delta. Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Excellent.
Big damn war hero.
Yeah, big damn war hero. And which is why they're looking to you for your guidance. They're really pleased. They did not actually anticipate that you would be joining them on their part of the mission. They figured they'd just be dropped off and be left to their devices. The fact that you came along is actually kind of cool. You've got some fanboying going on. But for the most part, the challenge is going to be a 3. Reduced by your protocol. Makes that a 2.
Okay.
They will roll. They've got 1 success.
And with the auto crit, that's 3 successes.
That's going to give the pool 1 more momentum. You're able to improve the processes, so they're going to get more efficiencies, which means they're going to better support the overall mission. From a mission directives perspective, providing aid, comfort, that is definitively, unless something happens between now and the end, you would definitely get a yes on that particular mission directive.
Okay.
While you're here and observing what's going on with the building of this facility and the Aegis team, is there anything that you would like to do? There are, as everybody, and I haven't mentioned it a lot, but everywhere that Federation officers are, there's at least 2. If the team is large like this, there will be 4 Centurions. They hang way back. They don't interfere. They don't brandish weapons. They're not looking menacing. They're very professional, but there's always 4 of them somewhere in proximity. They don't lift a finger to help, but they don't get in your way either.
Okay. Yeah, I will not interface with the Centurions unless I have to. But some of the workers who are already here, I'll ask how things are, what the stellar weather was like, if they've had any unusual ion storms or anything like that, since we've heard that the star may be unstable.
There have been some events. The auroras are a little more brighter, go deeper along the axis of the planet. But for the most part, it's just a lot of hard work. We pretty much are sun up to sundown working, get our rest periods in.
They don't have anything on the interstellar weather.
There's not a lot. They have some minor weather control slash protective stuff set up at the primary, like where the command center is. But out here on the outskirts, whatever the weather is, the weather would be. There's nothing that's detrimental, but they're not putting a lot of permanent infrastructure around to make it so.
It's a part of my murder board about a Romulan project called Starseed, where they can affect interstellar weather that I'm quietly wondering if maybe they've been doing that around here with the unstable star.
There is one person who gives you a weird look like, yeah, dude, okay, and goes about their work. There's another person who quietly says, I don't know about that, but there was this guy, a Vulcan. He was a strange Vulcan, though. Called himself Saint Cuthbert. He rolled through here a couple months back.
A Vulcan named Saint Cuthbert?
Yeah, that's what we said. It didn't make any sense to us either. But he kind of rolled through, asked a lot of similar questions to you. Not about the Star Scene thing, but I don't know.
I'm
He
not
was
specifically
asking.
mentioning Starseed. I'm being
Oh,
cagey
okay.
about that, but just
No, that person actually gives up that name.
oh really?
Yep. Yeah, he didn't mention anything about that, but he was asking a lot of questions about technology stuff, like programmers and just salvage operations, things of that nature.
I've got a new point on my murder board.
It is at this point I will remind you that way back in season one, you had a Vulcan crew member who went by the name of St. Cuthbert.
Oh, okay.
And it was a code name. He was Starfleet intelligence, and everybody always thought that was odd. Nobody, what? It was very weird, but definitely an individual that you know the name of.
I'm gonna have to look into that when I get back.
All
Yeah, but other
right.
than that, it's work.
Okay.
Seeing what we can do. I like the role for if maximizing efficiency, especially since the Romulans don't seem to be wanting to use androids.
All right. So the work goes well. There's a lot of documentation on the processes, your protocols, and the advice you've been giving, and it'll be their job to figure out if that can be applied universally or if that can speed up the overall work on this facility and whatnot. So that's more their thing. You're giving them advice here, and then it's their job to take from that, learn from that, and adapt it to the various situations they go to. So
Okay.
the first day's kind of over. Everybody kind of gets back. The Aegis team stays out at that platform, but Tenari, you're brought back with your crew. So you're in the main compound. There's a Federation section, the Lieutenant Commander Liaison. He shows you to general area or crew quarters area. It's more like a large hotel suite more than anything else. Everybody has their own individual room, and then there's like a common area, food replication, all that good stuff. It's all very Federation standard. This feels a lot more like a apartment sized shuttle landed here, but it doesn't have nacelles or whatever, but it has everything else that you would have on a shuttle. But it is basically a Federation habitat that's self-contained and designed to give you all the creature comforts of home. And your rooms can be adjusted for temperature to that which your species is accustomed and prefers.
Two things I wanted to do. First would be as we're leaving the meeting with the provost, I'm going to casually suggest to the provost that my XO liaisons with their logistical team so that Ocean can start trying to connect with Navara.
Okay.
Secondly, the Aegeus Lieutenant Commander with a Commander Solon, I'm going to offer him and his team while we're in orbit, the ability to rotate back up to the ship and use the holodecks
Okay.
for crew R&R, and also as a cover to get them off planet to debrief outside of prying eyes and ears.
I love it. All right. We're going to go through about a week or so of time before we close this act out. Your persuasiveness, and it is going to be versus the Romulan lead who clearly was opposed to your endeavors. I'm going to spend 3 threat to get 2 dice. Ooh, awful. Difficulty is only going to be 3, but basically just slide this past them. Like you're saying, it's R&R so they work faster, so that they say, okay, Federation's lazy, whatever, and don't pay any, never mind. So trying to persuade him or convince him or deceive him, however you want to phrase that.
Yeah, I'll spend 1 momentum for that. And then I am going to, so Presence Command on this one.
Sure.
That sound good. And then on top of that, I want to use diplomacy because I want to get something from him without him noticing it really.
Yep.
So I'm going to use one of my 2 uses of my Star Cross award to double the critical threat range for this task.
Okay.
So the critical threat range goes from 5 to 10 since I got a command of 5.
Sounds good.
Aha. A 6, a 9, and a 13. So I get 5 successes with the use of this Star Cross.
All right. So that's 2 momentum.
Yep,
And do you get a bonus momentum on that?
I do.
Okay. So you are at 5 momentum now and 7 threat.
So it's 4 regular and 1 bonus, right?
Yep.
Okay. Again, I'm going to use my bonus momentum and 1 more momentum to increase the potency of the trait with the provost on that good first impression.
Okay.
So like the provost is all, oh, he's taking care of his people. Like the
Yep.
colonel is all like, lazy Federation, and the provost sees solid R&R, makes quality downtime, makes for more productivity, less
Yep.
likely to cause errors and get hurt, and I'm actually taking care of my people. And not
Yep.
just my
And
people, but the Federation.
yep. And that coupled with Tenari's improvements is going to bear out that they'll see legitimate improvement to the results in that process. That goes very well in that week or so, and people are going up and back. Ocean, I assume you're going to be party to the debriefing to get information and basically allow for the word to get out. Anything specific you want to get out of those debriefs or anything you're looking for?
No,
Bearing
no,
in mind that there are security personnel in each of these teams that are cycling in and out.
yeah. No, I'm at this point, I'm trying to do the thing that we were talking about is just
Yep.
keeping my eyes open and being more or less helpful.
Yep. Managing schedules and all that. One of the things that will happen is towards the end of that week, you get notice that somebody is going to meet you and your friend will meet you. They've got a setup that they're convinced that it'll be safe.
So, like the 2 other things I want to kind of do through the week is with Nilon and Thanev, I want to get their download debrief of what Beta Z emotional context and connotations they've been picking up,
Hmm.
and pick Nilon's like extra sensory, like bad juju vibes. How how
Sure.
how juju are the vibings? And then as the Aegis teams cycle up, I want Thanev and Ocean to be debriefing the head of the security team for each Aegis team that comes up for shore leave for holodeck time under that guys and get the
Yep.
status and what we can glean from all that.
Denev will say, I'm happy to share my overall observations, sir, but I am a little cautious about getting a read on Federation personnel coming up for R&R. I don't think that's the proper use.
No, I
Do
want
you
your
want?
most of your read of the situation in the Romulans and everything. Again, surface thoughts are not crimes. So an emotional state is just that. I'm mostly wanting you and Elon to check for any, since I don't have a counselor on board, I want you to see for anyone suffering any undue stress, any, besides Mr. Tanari, deep paranoia or like hatred against Romulans. Like my brother's cousin's roommate was murdered by Romulans, and now I'm going to sabotage the mission because I hate them, type things. Use
Okay.
your discretion.
Understood, sir. Lieutenant Nealon, how would you approach this request?
I think I would like, of course, understand the intentions of this, and since I've worked for a while on Dilamus Christian, and I think getting like general, like people who are agitated often, things like that.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
Lacey, you've known like you've been on the Christian for a while, and Tobor will ask you for your like insight and opinion. This
Yeah,
is like the first time he's asked you to go forth and read people and report back. So like
right.
you're seeing like that little bit of stress on the mission is creeping in.
Okay. Yeah, that is important to note. I definitely wouldn't be going out and doing things sketchy, but would definitely note people who are that they seem way off.
okay. So, privately, at some point during this time, you and Thanev sharing a lunch or whatever on board the ship or whatever on board the DC. And because of your relationship, you have a very good sense. No roles ever necessary between the two of you because you can communicate telepathically between yourselves, especially since things are fixed. Like that rapport is back. And she's weirded out by the question. She really doesn't know how to deal with that because while she's security and Starfleet intelligence, she's specifically focused on ethics. It's like it is towing a line for her that's and she gets it. It's not intended to make her do anything that she's not supposed to do, but it's very clear she's worried about the slippery slope. She's in a position where she rides that middle line, so she's worried about the slope. And you sense that she's got a little worry that you've been a little closer to that line than you might like yourself. And so you're sensing some worry on her part and
Mm.
that protective nature that she used to have for you back when you were in school is there. And this is usually when she bristles and gets in a lot of trouble with the admins. So you're getting that sense that she's building up that energy. But she basically says, look, if I'm in any room with anybody, I'm there as a security officer. Obviously, I'm supposed to do threat assessment. So I will certainly provide any information towards that nature. I just feel it's a little odd, the rest of it. But we are dealing with Romulans. We know there's Telshi are. I guess it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
I think that it is a little peculiar, but I do understand a little bit of where this might be coming from. And I think without going out and trying to spy on people in a intimate way, more of shifting towards assisting the security team.
Okay, I can do that. From your interactions, the people that you've been working with, Norella, they don't seem to be hiding a lot. They do let
Mhm.
things slip, but it's more like they've observed things that might be important more than they're involved in them. So they know that while the Centurions are supposed to be reporting to the provost, none of their actions act as though they are eventually reporting up to the provost. It's like they do their own thing, and
Mhm.
that's a bit strange. Obviously, there's a security leader, and so they would report to them, but that person's supposed to report to the provost. You get the impression from crew members back and forth and just observing conversations and questions and requests during this week of work that the Centurions are clearly there in a different capacity and they don't answer to the person in charge of the colony.
Seems like a dangerous thing when things are balancing precariously.
Yes.
Well, I'll definitely share the things that I noticed that seem to be important with the commander.
Yep. I'm going to spend one threat to set a difficulty. And if you would roll for Thenev, this is basically her kind of, because the leader that has been causing so much consternation, he is always actively hiding things. So even though she's not trying to pry, just in order to be able to get a good observation, she's got to see through the guise kind of thing.
Right.
And that difficulty is set at 4.
Are we at 9 and 2 now? Or
You are 6 and 4.
okay. Then can I spend 2 momentum and 1 threat?
Sure thing. Alrighty.
I don't know what I'm trying to meet.
Her security, I believe, is a 14. Let me just double check that.
I rolled very good though.
If you rolled under 10, I don't even worry about it. Consider that a good.
Okay.
Because she'll be using Insight Security, which are 2 better ones for her anyway. So
If Insight Security is a quote unquote focus as a supporting NPC, then it's either 14 or 15, depending on the species bonus.
yeah.
I got 1, 3, 7, and 14.
Yeah, she's good. Those are all successes.
Yes.
All right. So you said 1, which counts as 2, a 3, which counts as 2, and a 14, which is 5. So she got 5 successes on I said 3 difficulty, right?
And a 7 too.
So 6 successes on a 3 difficulty is 3 momentum.
Back to 5.
Back to 5. So with that done, she will let you know, Captain Tobor, and she'll also share with you, Narilla, that he's definitively hiding something. And for the last week, he's been working really hard to obscure any questions, inquiry, or work dealing with the swamps that are southwest of the primary compound. If I remember what Commander Ocean had said, that's the area he let slip had a secure facility. I would also say he's overly focused on threat assessing us.
Good. If he's busy focusing on us, he maybe is missing other aspects. We just sit here and be big, dumb, nice, happy, friendly Starfleet.
I don't do dumb, sir.
That's good. I don't either. And how are our people doing? Our being both the DC and the Aegis teams.
They're young, they're raw, they're green, they're excited, they're saving people's lives. If I'm quoting Ensign Kolodar, the Benzite, this is what I came here for, sir.
Excellent. Lieutenant Nilon, how are you? What's your read on the crew and the team?
Would I have really noticed anything in interacting with the team? Anyone acting less? I would imagine that people are generally a little bit more uneased than usual, but
Yeah, the security folks with the Aegis teams are worried about constantly being under the watchful eye of Romulan's security forces. There's one guy who's super paranoid, like really looks like he was cut from the Tenari cloth, and he seems to be way paranoid about Telsiar this, and he had even made some comment at one point when you saw him coming out of a holodeck simulation with his friends, like he's convinced that maybe it's not the Tal Shiar, it could be an Obsidian Order plant faking that they're a Tal Shiar. Like he's out there. We're talking like Bird Brain Barkley stuff. There's spiders in the transporter pad.
So I will discreetly let Commander Solon know that security guy number 3 is, I'm sure you're aware he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but like he's being extra right now. Please keep an eye on him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on a short leash. That's why yeah. We got a report back from his team lead after day 1 with Tanari's group on the outskirts, and yeah, we're not assigning him that duty again.
Excellent.
All right. And Dave, during that week, you're not out with the team specifically anymore. You're managing jobs on the ship and attending meetings and stuff with the captain occasionally as need be.
The fun
Anything you want to be working on based on the information that's been filtered to you?
I'm probably busy enough that at least the fun information, I'm not having a lot of time to deal with that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like you said, since I'm doing mostly office and coordinating work, I'm not getting to do the fun engineering stuff either. Tanari is probably not in the best of moods, but he's soldiering through.
Okay.
Duncan might be laughing at him a little bit.
Oh, Duncan loves
But
this bit. He's like, ooh, logistics,
mm,
procedures, protocols. You've
but
actually seen a pep in his step that you haven't seen in quite some time.
but he is determined because we are Starfleet to make sure that things are done correctly and safely.
Right.
And possibly, especially just to keep them busy and their mind active, give some calculations and logistics tasks to
Okay.
DC, see what they can do.
Anything specific you would be tasking DC with?
Joe?
You get a Tobor to Tanari. Please join me in my ready room.
Yes, sir. I will go join him in the ready room.
So when you arrive, DC is already there. I'm like, Mr. Tanari, I have a side project for you that may pique your antennae if you're interested.
Sure, anything to break the monotony right now.
I figured that by this point you'd be chewing on isolinear chips, wanting to be down there. However, we have a very unique opportunity that I don't want to let go to waste. And I want you and DC to very carefully and very quietly and very discreetly see if our Epsilon subspace scanning array has any better chance at detecting cloaked ships than our traditional array algorithms.
My antenna probably goes straight up at that.
Because I'm already operating under the assumption that there are at least one or more cloaked vessels in this system, and I'd like to be able to know where they are.
Of course, sir.
As Tanari's antenna go up with excitement, DC's eyes glow purplish and form irises for the first time that you've noticed. And
Oh, that's new.
they are wearing a smile. I love sensors. Thank you, sir.
I mean, you built yourself a body out of one of them, so I figured you were the right entity for the job.
There's an old saying, you are what you eat, or no,
Yeah,
you are what you make of yourself. That's it, I
very
think.
true.
Yeah, I believe that's the one. You are what you make of yourself.
Sir, with your permission, we'll go get started.
All right. Yes, be about it, Mr. Chinari.
Lacey, you're killing me. That's too good. Is it bad when your sentient AI does a Freudian slip? Anyway, he exits with Denari. So with Denari and DC leaves and they head towards the sensor. Actually, instead of going to the sensor array, as you're headed that way, DC says maybe we should do this in order to maximize discretion in the holodeck. We can program it to act as though the sensors are and feed in all the parameters from the system from our standard sensors, which wouldn't be abnormal, and then see if it works in the holodeck first.
It's not a bad idea. Let's bounce this off the captain just because he's got the holodeck set up for shore leave, quote unquote shore leave, for the Aegis crew.
To which that'll be my point. I'm like, what about using stellar cartography and use it under the guise of mapping stellar phenomenons and this peculiar environmental condition?
We could daisy chain hollow emitters and build in the simple parameters, basically recreate the conditions. We don't actually need to see it as though it's a hollow program. We just need the computer to react as though it's a hollow program, but recreate the environment with a series of hollow emitters.
Tanari's already pulled out a pad and is working on specs.
I like the way you're thinking.
All right, you two have fun.
We will, we will. Thank you, sir. As Tanari and DC begin working in the communication with the CO, and he looks over at Tanari and he says, I really like working with you. This is going to be fun.
I think so. There's nothing quite like getting a piece of equipment to do something it's not supposed to do.
Well, or something it was meant to do all along, and we just didn't know it yet. We're going to switch over to our XO, who, while some civilian folks are bringing up some equipment to the DC, among them, you recognize a friend in civilian attire who takes a break and goes to the galley and waits for you to have a seat next to them.
So I make my way into the galley.
Yep.
Take my time, but I'll eventually, like, I'm looking around for a seat, then non-discreetly mosey my way up and sit down.
They're sitting there, they're eating. They've got some replicated hash brown and tocino.
Never could stomach that stuff.
Well, it keeps you alert. What brings you to town?
Oh, uh, I'll need our help. And you know how the higher ups like to show that they're helping.
I do.
Makes a lot of other people nervous, though.
It does. It also gets a lot of attention.
Yeah.
2 or 3 extra units of shields attention.
Oh, sorry. 2 or 3 units.
Shields, which is a veiled way of speaking about Tal Shiar.
Yes, I was like, it's either that or she's looking for a bribe, and I'm not 100% sure which way she was going with that. But yeah, they seem to be bouncing me around. I'm supposed to help them with the coordination of setting up these landing zones, and they got sections they don't want me going into.
Oh, if you can avoid that would be a good idea.
Playing with stuff they shouldn't, or nothing that's going to blow up while we're here, right?
No, it's a Tal Shiar detention facility.
Oh, yeah, I definitely don't think I want to end up there.
Nope, I would avoid it.
Yeah.
Anything else I might be
I
able to help
assume they're
with?
going to be the last people to be shipped out, if at all.
It's highly unlikely they will move from there. This was supposed to be a relocation from 2 specific colony worlds. It's more like 1.5 specific colony worlds and transfers from other Tal Shiar detention sites. They don't even document the names of the people who are there. That is kept exclusively by the warden. Not even the guards are aware of the names of the people they have.
Wonder what they had to do to get that level of attention. You folks are all loyal to the Empire, right?
Every last one of us,
Hmm.
and especially those who are here. It varies. Different reasons, different times, different places. What I can tell you is that the idea is that their detainees will stay there. The only detainees that'll leave when the event happens are those that have given the Tal Shiar what they want. They're not supposed to leave here. And worse yet, follows Federation law. They're technically being humanely treated.
That they are.
And they are relocating in volume numbers of population who are the quote unquote underserved and underprivileged. The Romulan Star Empire, for the first time in their history with the Federation, is being 100% honest about their statistics. And the Federation is lapping it up. Basically, the diplomatic agreement says you have to get so many of the various socioeconomic groups by bringing in prisoners who are at the absolute bottom of that list. in any large numbers, they're swaying the percentage in such a way that they're legitimately hitting the quotas and agreements, but they're only doing it because they're purposely bringing people here that they have no intention of saving.
Got it. Yeah.
A mutual friend was here not too long ago. And
Yeah.
actually tried to get him to get hold of you. Must not have crossed your path yet, but he's aware and he's telling his people as well. So the word is getting out. But I don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah, I think they've reached out to us. He was looking for someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
A Federation person who's not been here anytime soon, but may or may not have connections. I couldn't find anything specific, but if there's anything I can do to help connect it, if two of my favorite Feddies are looking for somebody, then they have my interest in full cooperation, obviously.
I wasn't a Betty the last time we ran into each other, which reminds me, I was on Solpac recently. Jamar is still there, and you think he's still single.
Well, if I make it off of this particular rock, maybe I can slide home for a while.
They're changing the place up. Wow. Wouldn't recognize it soon.
I'll find ways to bring back the old days. I always do.
That'd be. I expect I'll get a call about that.
Let me just say I heard, and I'm sorry for the loss. If there's any constable that I would have preferred to have been arrested by, it would have been your father. He was one of the rare stand-up ones. Never on the take. Always did what he was supposed to do. I like the ones you can count on. Sounds like you're trying to follow in those footsteps these days.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. But you know what they say, you can take what's the human phrase, you can take they have some sort of phrase about not being able to completely leave what you were behind.
Humans and their phrases. Gobbledygook. Do you have apple pie? I think is the one that I know, but whatever. I get what you're saying. It's hard to leave behind what we've done.
Never tried that, by the way. Nasty, nasty stuff.
No. Why would anybody eat anything that's 3.16 ad infinitum? That's just bizarre to me. Humans. Strange. So strange. While you're here, is there anything else I can help you with?
Just stay safe. You haven't
Okay.
always been the up and up, and they might decide that you're somebody who doesn't need to leave.
That place is for military prisoners. Civilians, racket runners, minor info brokers. I don't deal in weapons. I don't deal in flesh. And I certainly don't deal in tech that can get people killed. Because of that, I tend to stay away from Tal Shiar notice. Local authorities can have problems with me from time to time, but for the most part, I should be safe from those folks. That's a military prison. If somebody's in there, they offended the Empire.
Do you have any? No, not you, but that installation. Obviously, there are the shields that go in and out. But what about other people?
It's like anything else on this planet. Everything's done by shuttle. I mean, there's
They use
obviously
shuttle
shielding and stuff, but you have to shuttle there. They shuttle there.
to the installation. There's no.
Certainly. They leave from the pad in cluster 47, and which is the closest one to it, but they shuttle there. There's a single pad at the facility, and that's all I know,
Well,
unless you want me to find out more.
don't risk too much, but any information you happen to hear.
I'm on it. All right. And with that, you have rest of a meal, pleasant conversation, reminisce old times, those types of things. Anything you wanted to do before we close this scene?
No, not before we close the scene, but I do want to make sure that I am sharing that information with the captain, especially regarding the specific shuttle pad, because that is definitely important.
Yep.
So,
Shuttle Pad 47.
yeah. And I will also make sure that our conversation hasn't attracted too much notice.
Okay. Nobody really pays that much attention there. The people who are coming and going, that's obviously as Dilamus Christian crew members pass by, they'll give you pleasant hello, sir, that type of thing. One junior officer at one point says, sir, obviously we're in the middle of a larger mission, but if we have some time after we wrap things up here, love to talk with you about an application I'm submitting for some additional training.
And I just nod affirmatively to that.
Thank you, sir. All right. I think, Joe, you had one other thing you want to do before we close this act?
Yeah, once Ocean lets me know what's the deal with this installation and everything, I'm going to use the Omega 6 encryption protocol to essentially embed that in our routine comms traffic messaging and send that information to the Regional Operation Command. And we're here. What now? Still no
Okay.
contact.
All right. This act is winding down. It's a couple days after that week is up, and Ocean, you get a communication from your friend. It's properly encrypted, coded, all the safe channels, but it goes as simply as this. I have somebody who needs to see you, and they say they're the reason you're supposed to be here.
Okay.
I don't know any more details other than this is an interesting person, a very interesting person. That communication also comes with a small bit of data. It is basically a bio slide with Romulan blood.
Okay. Neural, don't never say I don't get you anything.
She wanted the science.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to close the scene. We are ending the night at 5 momentum and 5 threat. As I said previously, all knotted up. The Dilamus Christian is in support of a full-fledged Aegis team and the Federation Corps of Engineers supporting and building out this evacuee colony. You have uncovered some intrigues and some challenges, but you've done a lot to help folks. As we end this episode, you have a +1 trait for prepare mission coordination. You have a +1 trait for help me help you. You have a +1 trait for hardened internal security protocols, the Dilamus Christian. You have the trait, an old Romulan friend who has connects and information for you from time to time. And you have a +2 trait, which is building on the Provost trust of Tobor and the Dilamus Christian's mission here. As we end, DC and Tenari are working on plans to see through the haze by adapting the Dilamus Christian's very special and very unique sensors to do some more big damn cool things. Narilla and Thenev are towing the line with some trepidation, but finding solidarity as their working relationship and their friendship is getting back to form. We'll say goodnight here, and we'll see everybody next week. Have a good night, all.